to WRPB and WRPB Studios. So the gentleman sitting next to me has a really interesting job because every time he does something, it's different. And there's nothing better than a job that's not the same every time you go. Okay, so sitting next to me is Zachary Grubb from SC Logo Wear. So
Thank you for having me.
I dealt with a lot of places that do stuff like this. This is yours.
Yeah.
And this stuff is so important if you're in business. Now, the
Absolutely.
coolest thing I saw from you was your sport jacket,
Okay.
the embedded logo.
Uh-huh.
How was that in there? How was that done?
It was embroidered.
Okay.
Yeah, so hoop it up and feed it into an embroidery machine, and then it sews out your logo stitch by stitch. So,
Okay.
and we did that one. We had one done on the lapel, and then another one done on the sleeve.
You're younger. You're lucky because you're younger. Because in my day, when I was your age, that would have had to be sewn by hand. One stitch at a time.
Stitch by
All
stitch.
right, so how long you been around the industry?
Going on 16 years now, total in the industry. Done everything.
How'd you get into it? Or why?
It just kind of fell into it really. So at the time, I was getting out, doing the Navy Reserves at the time, and then
Thank you for your service.
yes, absolutely, I appreciate that. So I was working for my brother. I had moved back from San Diego, and was working for him part time. He had bought this company. He was already buying these materials for events and stuff that he was doing for an event business he had, and so the guy had to go out of business, and so he bought the equipment through his fire sale, and just kind of kept it in the shop and ran it a few hours a week. And so then when I kind of came on board, I was saw an opportunity, sales. We both saw an opportunity to kind of increase the sales and kind of get those machines running full time. They're sitting there,
Right.
Wasting space and time. Might as well get them running and making some money. So I started locally up in North Carolina, the Chamber of Commerce website up there. Door knocking and cold calling, and worked and was able to hire a machine operator. While I ended up dedicated more time to sales, as we got the sales increased. And so, I was, running our embroidery machine, screen printing, manual screen printing machine.
So he's still up in North Carolina.
Yes. That's where our main production facility is. In North Carolina, we have a 50,000 square foot building.
Wow.
In downtown Winston-Salem, where we employ approximately 55 to 60 people at any given time right now, between slow season and nutrition and those kinds of things.
Finding help is brutal.
Yes, finding help, finding good help
Right.
is the key.
Right.
Yeah,
Because everybody wants a job, but nobody wants to work.
absolutely. And so we hire slow and fire fast. We have an amazing owner. He's actually my brother. He's about 13 years older than me or so. Has been a great mentor and kind of got me to where I am today, which I'm very thankful and blessed for. But he is involved in all the hiring processes, and so he makes sure that we hire according to our culture and what he's been able to do for our company. He's led us a very long way from just me and him to where we are now, and it's it's all a testament to what he's been able to do and the people he are able to attract, and so it does make a difference.
Is he going to see this?
I hope so.
Okay, so what I'm going to say next, he might not want him to see it.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
we were talking the other day when you were here,
He knows the good, the bad, and the ugly.
and you were telling me about the car you had before the car you have now.
Yeah.
So you got demoted in cars.
Yeah, a little bit.
Probably better off, but tell you the truth.
Yeah, everything comes down to making sure that the company can survive and pay the employees, pay the team members, and be solvent. And so as much driving as I do, a step from 4Runner to a sedan, it helps a little bit with the gas, But with opening our physical location here in Florida, I'd imagine there'll probably be a bigger vehicle in my future just for pickups and deliveries and those kinds of things. So. Yeah, Charlie, if you're watching,
What sells the most? What's your biggest seller?
oh man, industry specific or in me?
Yeah.
Or, so industry wide, I think pens are probably one of the most ordered promotional products of all time as far as the cost of them. It's a good bang for your buck. You can get 250 pens for $200 or so. And the lifetime expectancy of a pen is great. Your pen is typically going to travel through about 15 people's hands before
Right.
it dies or
Great
gets
if
thrown
they
away.
steal it from you.
Yeah, exactly. So I love it when people steal my pens. I drop them off at restaurants.
Right.
And,
It makes total sense. But
absolutely.
so give me a kind of a list or an abridged list of some of the things that you do at your place. So you do pens.
Yeah. So, well, and I'll have to say, pens, a lot of the hard goods, like pens and some of the lower cost goods, we don't actually produce in our house, and most people, on the local level don't. There's a lot of, large clearing houses that, that's all they do is
Right.
pens. And so they kind of have that, boxed in as far as pricing goes and being able to be competitive. And so they're also professionals at that. It's a hard imprint. It's a small imprint, and
Yep.
a lot of detail. And but in my shop in particular up in North Carolina, so we do screen printing. So we have manual screen printing, or automatic screen printing presses for T-shirts. Your normal, event T-shirts, and we have specialty inks too to make it, softer than your normal, thick plastisol
Right.
ink. We do embroidery. We have tons of embroidery machines, 15 heads, 12 heads, 6 heads, single heads, depending on, the size of the order and what we're doing. We run samples of everything we do before we, actually run it on the final product. So that's what typically the single heads are for. And then we do full cut and sew dye sublimation as well. So we start off with a raw roll of 60-inch wide fabric. We sublimate the designs into the fabric, so it's kind of like what you're wearing there, where you can't feel anything on top.
Right.
It's not an ink or anything. It's dyed into the fabric. We have a big laser cutter. It kind of cuts it all out, and then we, have a sew team that sews it together into a final product, which is kind of, one of the coolest processes I think we do, because we take something, raw, and we make it into, something really cool, whether it's a, long sleeve fishing shirt with a hood, a hoodie. We even do uniforms, basketball shorts, those kinds of things. And then other types of printing, DTF printing, other small scale, vinyl transfers. We also do signs, banners, decals, vehicle wraps, all that in-house up in North Carolina. And
So, and I know you did on the, why would I call it? It's not really a tent, but the canopies that people work under.
yeah.
You do them.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done on locally here, Blue Skies Health and Wellness over in Port St. Lucie, here in Port St. Lucie, and we can do full dye sub canopies, so you can customize the whole thing edge to edge, table covers as well.
And of course, when you come by, you'll know because your car is wrapped.
Yeah, yep.
So you do wrap.
Yep, absolutely. Vehicle wraps, whether you just want some graphics for your vehicle, or you want a full wrap, top, bottom, roof, or we can even do partial wraps where you're minimizing square footage, which is minimizing your cost, but also still getting a good good coverage area and a good billboard.
So you don't really have, for you have it easy. You don't have to shop for shirts.
No,
You just call, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to be going out to this event.
Yeah.
Can you send me a shirt
Yeah.
with the logo on it?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
we talk because I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan and
Yeah.
Parrot head. So I have tons of shirts with a parrot on them.
Yeah, I think every time I meet with you.
Yeah, I have one on. And I serve in church. And when I'm in church and I'm serving and I have a parrot shirt, I get at least 4 or 5 people that compliment me.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's
good-looking
different.
shirts.
Now, I was talking to somebody today about what you do.
Okay.
Actually, I was talking to Amy from the Stuart Martin Chamber,
Okay.
telling her that I want to invite you.
Awesome.
And I said, I'm going to tell you what it was that really sold me over. And that's when he came in with his sport jacket that was embroidered with the logo. But you can get embroidery done in a lot of places. This was done like to the T. It looked so perfect. It was really, really a great job,
That's awesome.
I know your
I
brother
appreciate
didn't do it.
that. Yeah, no, that's a testament to my team, back in North Carolina. And that wasn't even where I wanted it to go, honestly. I put the order in to just do it on the left chest, and my team came to me and said, hey, we think this would fit, and
Great.
we'll shrink it down and looks good there. And so, that's what I love, being able to, have creative people on your team that can suggest other things outside of what you might think is suitable.
Today we go to Shameless Promotions and Muffins on Wednesday.
Yeah, I missed it this morning with
And
my
today
AC
one of
broken.
the tips and stuff said every day you should do at least one thing that's creative to keep your mind going and stuff.
That's a good.
So for me, I know when I'm home, I'll go into the kitchen and cook. I love to cook.
Oh yeah.
So I'll cook and I'll make some food, and my wife will. I'll give it to my wife and I'll say taste it, and I'll say is it any good? And her philosophy is, okay, somebody cooked it and brought it to me. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. That goes with
It
marriage
may
life.
need a little salt, but it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So, what's the future of your company on the Treasure Coast?
Well, you never know what the future is actually going to be.
What would you like it to be besides blow up?
Anytime you try to plan something, God, the world's got different plans for you.
Right.
So, we're opening up our location here. We've already acquired another smaller business here that lady was retiring, and so we're blessed to have that opportunity to have some be able to buy some machines and service a customer base here locally, as well as the customer base that I've been able to build here in the past I'd say 6 to 8 months or so.
Well, you've been networking, so
Yeah, networking helps, and so I've made a lot of traction and been blessed with a lot of orders that came through here, and so being able to service them here locally with employees and team members here locally
Charlie's your
makes a
brother,
difference.
right?
Yes, yeah.
Charlie,
Absolutely.
he is at like all these events. So if you think he's not working, he's working.
Yeah.
Okay, you could do like 3 events a day.
Yeah.
That's what's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I calculated it a couple months ago, and I was averaging about 20 events a month. Between the chamber, itself holds an average of about 18 events a month, I think, throughout
Does it really?
the year.
Oh, 'cause
between
ribbon
ribbon cuttings and
Yeah.
those kinds of things, which end up being pretty good and big networking events. Short runs, but that's in and out.
Well, you got to get back to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you
And,
got to service the customer.
For me, the morning is where most of the networking is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like the after hours is more of a party thing.
Yeah,
kinda
more of a
cliquish.
relationship building. Yeah, absolutely.
The 7:45, 8 o'clock, those are my favorites. You're out by 9:15, and you're done. And you can get to work, or in some cases, old people like me can go home and take a nap. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
I
Don't
know
worry
a
about
few.
it.
Yeah. I hope it's further on down the road. A lot
So
further.
you came down here. So what brought you down here?
We didn't move here directly from North Carolina. I was in South America for 2 years.
Okay.
We didn't plan on being there, and we ended up there, and then we had to stay for a little while. Won't get into the details of that, but it was a blessing in disguise. My wife is from there originally, and so our kids were able to kind of live there with us and had a relationship with my wife's whole side of the family. But outside of that, when we were coming back to the States, we just didn't want to move back to North Carolina. We had already turned our previous residence into an investment property, which had been a blessing as well for us. And the weather there, frankly, bothered me, with rheumatoid arthritis and the cold and, even the slight elevation difference, it's just,
Brutal.
yeah. And, I always wanted to move to Florida, and it was, kind of the perfect, halfway point, and, well, we'll make our way back to North Carolina maybe, but, let's stop in Florida on the way. And Port St. Lucie just had so many, benefits of it. It was a town that we had knew of, before, with having friends, locally here around the area. And, it was just, it was kind of like a perfect opportunity, and really, really great city. This city reminded us of North Carolina a little bit. It's a little bit slower paced, obviously, compared to your West Palms
That's
and your
changing.
Fort Lauderdales, and it is changing, but it still does have that small town feel. Until you get stuck in traffic.
Who's your clientele? Like for you, it's like, all right, I'm home. It's a Tuesday afternoon. I gotta kind of get out there and, for lack of a better word, cold call a market. Who's your clientele? Who do you say? Like for us, one of our best guests to interview are usually chiropractors.
Oh yeah.
because doctors don't see them as doctors.
Okay.
People don't see them as doctors, and they have to market harder. So they come here, and we do a lot of their marketing for them. So,
Okay.
like, I think every industry has a clientele that's their go-to. Who's like your clientele?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I had like a go-to. I mean, when you look at my book of business, over 15 years, I have a lot of customers that I've had from day one, which are some of my early cold calls. Hayco, they're international, they're aircraft maintenance company. They're based out of Hong Kong, or their parent company is based out of Hong Kong, and then their corporate office is in Greensboro, where our production facility is. And I've built and maintained that relationship for 14 years, and that's led me into other aircraft, airline related companies. And so I do a lot in the airline and aircraft world, a lot of like MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul companies, other aviation type companies, and so even just staffing companies, for the aviation side of things. And so that is a big one. Construction is a big one. Commercial construction, and even other types of construction services as well. That's a big one for us. One of our largest accounts at SE Logoware, not account that I manage, but an account that Robert, who's one of our longest standing sales guys there, top sales guy of 2024 for us, which was great. One of his biggest customers is, a foundation repair company, and they have,
Wow.
And don't quote me here, but I think 80 some locations across the U.S., multiple locations in Canada as well, and we service all of those out of our shop with uniform programs and award programs, and we run all of their web stores and inventory fulfillment programs, and so we do that same thing with Hayco and some
Every
other
business, first of all,
companies.
has to have some swag, something.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. I agree with
From
that.
the little person, like we have some cutting boards that were etched for us. We've been through the pen scenario. We have some mugs. We have like a bunch of that stuff. And if you have a business and you don't do the proper marketing, which would be swag, video, and some print, you're losing out. You're losing out on business. We're getting to the top of our time. How do people find you? You have a website?
Yeah, absolutely. selogoware.com. But I would love for you to contact me directly. Our catalog on our sites can be a bit cumbersome, so that's where I come into play. And we just talk about what you're trying to do or who you are, and I would love to create a presentation and specify some products specifically
We'll put the
for
number
you.
the number up on
So,
screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 772.
667-5134. So 772.
Go ahead. It should be up on screen, and
Yeah.
I don't know why. We have it on screen. We don't have it on our screen here, but it's on screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and it's funny
That's a newer
because
number for me.
people don't remember phone numbers because everything's programmed into our phones nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like, hey, if you have an iPhone, hey Siri, call this one. Or if you're an Android, hey Google, call this one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
sad.
Follow me on Facebook, Zachary Grubb, Zachary Grubb. But yeah, would love to connect with you guys and solve your issues with your promotions.
Check them
That's
out.
what we do.
Zach, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Wayne. I appreciate you having me.
Everybody
here
have a
today.
great day. Check out Zach. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.